Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with another BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Houston Alexander. How you doing, sir?
So much, brother. How are you? Now we're
So,
back online right now. We had a little technical difficulty earlier, but we figured it out.
and two very simple guys, struggle with all this technology, and nothing's easy anymore. Nothing is easy. If I had got my son and you had got your son, it probably would have been easy.
Guess what? We figured it out. So
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying there's so many rumors about you. I feel like I would love to throw some of the stuff that I hear about you, and if
uh,
you could kind of tell us yes, no, what about it?
okay.
So the one thing that I hear all the time is Houston Alexander can only get licensed in Omaha. He'll never fight outside of Omaha. That's the one that everybody loves to throw. I've been guilty of saying it because I've heard it from so many people at BKFC things. Would you go ahead and set us straight?
I've never heard anything like that ever.
Really?
Yeah, and again, I don't know. I don't know why there would be a rumor out there like that, but I've never heard it from the organization. I've not heard it from a doctor. I've not heard any of that. So it's definitely a rumor.
Okay. So the other rumor that I hear is you have no interest in the belt. You just want to fight, and the chasing the belt's not something that's even on your wish list right now.
Well, chasing the belt, I really, I'm not a belt chaser.
Okay.
I'm a W chaser. I want wins, man. That's the only thing that counts, and all that other stuff works itself out. If I just happen to get the belt during the process of winning, I'm chasing wins, not the belt.
Okay, so I usually wear the hat. I'm a bald guy. You're a bald guy. Bald is beautiful. the one
Oh,
thing, yeah, the one thing though, it always seems like the bald head. It's so shiny on the camera, so I always wear a hat. But you have the good head, and yours isn't nearly as shiny as mine. So
it's good lighting, man. When have you not figured that out while doing all these podcasts, interviews? It's good lighting. Gotta have good lighting.
yeah. So clearly you've done TV before. The one thing that's always funny, I've been lucky enough to do some TV when they're putting makeup all over your head, so it's not shiny on the camera. So.
Yeah, but see, that's when I have all the big lights. I have specific light in my face, so I'm good, man. So, but yeah, I think this when you do all the shiny studio stuff, that's when they need that. Just so you won't sweat.
Sure. Don't want to see you sweat. Okay, so I know you do radio. Is that what you do out there in Houston?
Yeah, I do radio in the Omaha Council Bluffs area. It's called Culture Shock Radio, where we play classic hip hop. Me and my partner DJ Shorty, and we play classic hip hop. Who doesn't like classic rap music, man? And we play some up to date music, but we also play that music that you reminisce over as well. So I've been doing radio in this area since 2003 for a long time.
I discovered my love for classic hip hop and all that. I when I first got out of high school, I worked at a hip hop and R&B radio station. And I got to meet guys, like Royce the 5'9" came in. Like I got to meet a whole bunch of guys and all the music. It was a really cool experience.
And man, that's awesome, man. Especially being around radio, you're around all the, you're around all the situations from promotion to the on air. So yeah, it's radio is a big deal still to a lot of people, even though people think radio's dead. I mean, it's not, because you know why? Radio's free.
Yeah. The one thing I took away from working in the radio, everybody always wanted something for free.
Yeah, yeah, but that's because the labels and all those other people started that, man. They
Yeah.
started giving away stuff for free and stuff like that. So if you got people wanting things for free, it's because the record label started that.
Okay. So another thing that I noticed that you and I have in common, I have a single kidney. You have a single kidney. I was born with one. Like I was reading that you actually donated yours to your oldest daughter. Like that's a cool story. Can you tell us about that?
Oh man, I know a lot of people have heard the story, but my daughter was born with a kidney disease, and so
Okay.
they knew eventually she was going to need a kidney, and we all got tested, and I was damn near a perfect match. So when asked, do you want to give your daughter a kidney? Do you think I hesitated? No.
Not at all.
So there you go, man. At that time, I was doing construction with uh, asphalt company,
Okay.
and I think I stopped working asphalt for a couple of days and gave her a kidney, and then went back to work.
Did only having a kidney, did it ever hinder you for like fighting, or like it was never an issue?
Man, you keep yourself healthy, and when the doctor said you only need one kidney, it's fine, man. But just keep yourself healthy, man, internally and externally.
Would you credit that's what you're, I mean, like you look phenomenal. You're in your early 50s, you look great. Like you walk around, you're still like a very eloquent. Everything about you is like still like way up there. Is it all just because taking care of yourself?
Yeah, and then as you get older, I think you get smarter. When they say, and I think that's cliche, but a lot of people, when you get older, you get smarter about your health, and a lot of stuff that I do is internal. So like the cryotherapy, the colon cleansing, again, it's all internal work in the end, because the physical is always easy. The physical is always easy, but internally you got to make sure you're right as well. So and then that both comes together, and you end up being halfway decent.
So you told me that you always stay ready.
Yep.
So what does like a week of training look like? Like you're going into the starting on Monday. What does your week of training look like?
But just understand this: all fighters have got a routine, and I think the most important part of fighting is the um not even just because it's automatic. I think boxing is automatic if you're a boxer. Wrestling is automatic if you're a wrestler, or doing jiu-jitsu. It's see, if you've been doing it for so long, it's automatic. What I practice every day on is cardio,
Okay.
because it's going to be automatic when I get in there and box, because I've been boxing for 20 years. Do you think all of a sudden I'm just going to go in there and just go down, not have my hands up and just not be in the routine? No, it's a habit, it's a hobby, and it's something that you're going to automatically do when you get in the situation. So cardio to me on a daily basis is the most important part. That and lifting.
Okay, so you said you've been boxing for 20 years. You've been bare knuckle for a couple years. Is your training for bare knuckle?
Take that back. I've been bare knuckle and doing the bare knuckle all my life. Been doing the
Did you
bare
do?
knuckle all my life.
I was going to ask you about street fights later on, like because I know you grew up in a tough neighborhood, so I'm sure you have a street fight story that we'll ask you about in a little bit. Is there any conditioning do you do for your knuckles though, like specifically for bare knuckle?
Well, for the past maybe 20 years, I've been the grips that you use every single day. I use the grips every single day for the
Okay,
past 20 years. There's not been a day where I've not used the grips. So my hands were already conditioned for a bare knuckle. So, and because I remember the first time, the first event that we did, a lot of people were getting their hands broken because
sure.
they didn't have their hands conditioned already. But I already had mine conditioned from MMA, and again, it's those small things you do that count that later down the line.
So when we see new fighters come in, they always have that big adrenaline dump. You've been doing it for a long time. You're clearly a veteran, but do you still
Yeah,
get adrenaline dump, or like you're so conditioned that
I get pissed.
okay,
I get pissed. The one thing I get, and this is something I might have told a few people, but when I'm looking at the opponent across from me, I'm thinking they're trying to molest my children.
okay.
So that's one thing. That's one. And now when I'm looking across that guy, I'm like, yeah, it's time to stop this guy. So that's one of my methods.
Well, they will never be able to pay me enough money to step across the ring from you like a pissed off Houston Alexander. No thanks.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking across the ring. That's all to all my future opponents. That's what I'm thinking you're doing.
Okay, so I had heard you were supposed to be on the Omaha card.
Yeah.
You didn't end up on the Omaha card. You said it's strictly business, but were you planning on fighting on the Omaha? Was that a rumor, or you were planning on it and something happened?
The plan was, they got in touch with me earlier in the year about the Omaha card, I come to find out they had other plans for me. So hopefully in here in the next couple of months, I might be possibly fighting in LA.
Oh,
So that
okay.
so that might be a good card for us to have. I'm thinking I want to expand on that. So I think just hearing the rumors about I can't be sanctioned anyplace else. That's kind of weird, because think about this: how old was George Foreman when he fought in the '90s?
Sure.
He
Yeah,
was
he's
like,
old.
what, 55?
Right.
So, but I don't think he was in nowhere near the shape that I'm in. So, but it's just, but I think again, I was supposed to fight on the card, but then I think they wanted me to do something else. So here we are.
I'm okay if they pulled you off for something bigger, but I
Yeah.
feel like, you know what, like literally, so I was at Omaha and I could not believe everybody knows you, everybody wants your picture. My wife was like walking by you and says this little kid goes, "Can you get Mr. Alexander to take a picture with me?" And of course you stop and you took a picture and you talked to him for a minute. Everyone loves you. Like, when did you become such a celebrity in Omaha?
But see, here, first off, you got to understand, I'm not a celebrity because I've been part of this community ever since I was a kid.
Okay.
So that's first and foremost. You're not a celebrity in the community when you're a part of the community. That's first. And I've done so much in this community as far as youth outreach and things with schools. It was just second nature, and I've done so much in my community to help the community. Maybe that's the love I'm getting back for helping this community out and
It was
bringing attention to this community as well.
so again, I had never been at that venue, but that venue's got to be one of my favorite venues ever watched. Like you told me, you said there's not a bad seat here, but like I mean, it was everywhere it was clean. Everywhere you looked, it was like a great view. Like it's a phenomenal, like it's a great little town. Like I absolutely want to go to a fight there again.
Ralston Arena in Ralston area has, to me, that's probably one of the best places to have a fight because again, there's not a bad seat in the house, and the way it's built is built for everyone to enjoy looking inside a ring, basically.
Absolutely. Okay, so someone wanted to know that you've had 4 fights. You've never touched the canvas. You're one of the few guys who's never. I mean, there's guys who champions who've been knocked down. You've never been knocked down. Is it just because you're so pissed off in the fight, or
Hold on, Gator. Hold on.
okay, yeah, yeah, knocking on the wood, yeah, knock on the.
Wood real quick. That's it. Yeah, but the whole object of doing any type of bare knuckle or boxing or anything like that is to not get hit.
Sure.
So don't get hit, man. You're and always be first.
Okay, so you kind of have a who's of if you look at your career, you fought the who's. Is there anybody back from your MMA days that you're like, man, I wish I could get in the bare knuckle ring and do one more fight with them bare knuckle?
Oh man, obviously all the people I lost to, because coming up, I was still learning in the game because I was raw, and I was like that pit bull, that raw pit bull. But
Sure.
as you start learning more and you start thinking more, you start losing that pit bull edge. But now it seems like now I've gotten so much information, I've gotten the pit bull edge back. So that's weird. But if it's any person I would want to get in this ring with, this type of ring with, I would love to fight Kimbo again.
Okay.
Oh man, that would be great. That would be great to get down like this. See now, see this with bare knuckle, yeah, I mean you can't play or play around. So I
I
would love,
think
I
that
would love to refight him.
there's so many of us that grew up watching the
Rest in peace to Kimbo.
absolutely. But there's so many of us that grew up watching him in those backyard fights, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's tough. And then to think that you fought him, like that's so, I mean, that's an accomplishment too. Like, and you got to know him and be on the show with him, and like it just
Yeah, but he was cool, man. He was cool, and again, the last time I seen him, he had 100 people around him, and I only had a few people around me, and I don't roll with 100 people. I have a
no.
couple of coaches, and that's it. But that just shows you the dynamic of people, and being just right before the internet was popping, that was good for him. So you know, he would be one guy that I would love to just go back and do, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's why
Yeah.
we're here now, doing it now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just proving to people right now that I can still square up.
Who do you train with out there in Omaha? Like, what gym do you just kind of do your own thing? Do you have a gym
Uh,
that you would do?
Curly, I've been training for the past several years with Curly Alexander and Joe Butler, and there's a whole bunch of gyms that I go to because I like you gotta be able to move around. So
Sure.
Nick Doyle's, there's a few gyms. Just Bud Crawford's gym. obviously here, he's got the boxing gym out here. Victory Boxing. There's Skywalker 101. There's all these different places, man, that I go just to learn from everybody and to to spar with everybody. So it's a little bit of everything, man. I've just learned over the years. You have to move around and deal with different bodies because you never know what type of body is going to be in front of you.
Curly Alexander, is that any relation to you or just
Uncle. He was part of the first national championship team here in Nebraska. So right
okay.
before the Huskers won their first national championship, Omaha UNO,
Okay.
they won their first national championship a year before in wrestling, and he was
Okay.
part of the team.
So we just saw Kai Stewart defend his belt. He talks about that wrestler mentality. A lot of people know that you're the boxer, but you're also a wrestler. Do you
Yep.
feel like that wrestling mentality gives you the edge too? Do you attribute that to the success to that wrestling mentality, or?
I don't think it's more so wrestling for me. I think it's more dancing because
Okay.
look at it, you got two opponents in front of each other. Who's the better dancer? Because you have to get out of the way. You have to hit angles, and you just have to be a better dancer. And I just happen to be one of the best break dancers around here. I think it's more so not wrestling. I think it's more so dancing.
I absolutely love your Instagram for the breakdancing videos. The thing
Yeah.
that I love the most about your video or your Instagram, cool people. Where did the cool people thing start? Like, how did it come about? Like, I just love that you take pictures with people and they're cool people.
Yeah, man. But I think that started several years ago because people would come up to me and I would say, "Mom, this is cool that people come up to me and still even to this day when starting back in '03, they're still coming up to me asking." So
Sure.
and just respecting people's um thought process, man, and just I just think it's cool. So I just titled it to cool people, man. So and it's been and when I see people are like, hey man, I want to be on the cool people thing, and I'm like I'm like, oh, that's funny. So I never thought it would pop like that, but it's cool.
Okay, so people go to Omaha. I know the zoo is fantastic. Can you give us a couple of the other, like, where's a good place to eat? Like a couple fun things to see or do in Omaha when you stop in?
And there's a Mantra Bar and Grill. They got some of the freshest food in town. Lisa's Cafe. There's there's several places out here in Omaha that you can go and eat. But because this just think about this. You got a big small town, and a lot of people like to eat. So
Absolutely.
you don't have a lot of lot going on out here, but people love to eat. So they have different varieties of places that you can go. But I think Mantra right now is one of my favorite places to go because they have the fresh food. They got everything, and I'm a salad guy too.
Okay. Okay, so always my last question is, do you remember the first time you were in a street fight? I know that you've been in a lot of fights, so you probably don't remember do you remember your first one?
I remember my first street fight. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in St. Louis, East St. Louis, Illinois, where I'm from.
Okay.
Uh, these guys, well, in the schoolyard, tried to take my candy bar. Okay,
Okay.
it was a Snickers. So back then, Snickers was hey man, Snickers was that thing. And these guys tried to take my candy bar, and then you have 4 or 5 guys trying to jump me, and guess what? They ended up finding out that I was no punk, and guess what they didn't do? They didn't take my candy bar. And if any of those guys see this interview, I'm still looking for those guys. I was 8 years old.
Like,
But
were they similar
remember,
age or older?
my first street fight was over some kids trying to take my candy bar.
That's awesome. It would have been better if it was a Butterfinger because you could have did the nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger thing. But yeah, Snickers is good too.
No, what is the new slogan for Snickers? What is it? Got to get away or something like that? Or something I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Something weird like that.
yeah, yeah. So you get hangry when someone tries to take your candy bar and you beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, man. But I'll never forget my first fight, man. But I've been fighting, ever since I was 8 years old on playgrounds, streets, and I mean, it was just something that was always able to do because I'm a very talented family, very athletic family.
You have a great laugh. I feel like you'd be a great villain on a show. Like you've got that deep laugh, and like you'd be a great villain. I love it.
Hey man, hey, you know who's doing movies now, and I thought was really cool, Keith Jardine.
I saw that like he did the
Man,
John Wick.
and I was very impressed by that, man. He's doing movies. He's writing movies, and I just think it's the coolest thing ever, man. So maybe one day I can be in one of his movies.
He was talking to my buddy Russ, who runs the Extreme Bare Knuckle page, and I
Yeah,
said, "Does he want to come back?" Because I like he messaged him, and he goes, "No, he doesn't want to come back. He's just very interested in Bare Knuckle." I guess he was asking him a whole bunch of questions about Bare Knuckle. Turns out like
yeah.
he's a big fan, so I think it's cool.
Well, I probably need to get in touch with the man, especially with all the things he's doing. I messaged him a couple of times on Instagram, and man, again, doing cool. And I think he's in a great space, and I hope with his playwriting or whatever script writing, whatever he's doing right now, I hope he's really successful with it. And the first time I really thought was really cool was when he was in was what movie did I see him in that I thought was the coolest thing ever. Um, the Keanu Reeves movies.
Oh, the John Wick,
Yes,
absolutely.
he was one of the guys going after him in the club, and I was like, oh, look at Keith. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, man.
I watched that one where he was in prison with Shot Caller, I think it's called, where he's in the
That
prison.
was cool too. Shot caller was good. So again, shouts out to Keith, man. It's because that's what it is. You just don't stick to one thing. You got it opens open up doors for other things as well.
Okay, so we're talking about opening other doors. What's the best thing that you've got out of fighting? Like, if you got to do something that's really cool that if you weren't a fighter, you don't know that you'd have gotten to do it.
Oh, I, working with Key and Peele was cool.
Okay,
They were fans of the fighting game, and they knew I fought, and I replaced Terry Crews because I think Terry Crews had to do something, and they got a hold of me and to do it, and I was like, man, that was crazy. Flew out to L.A. and did one of the shows, and that was probably the coolest thing ever doing that.
did you have to learn how to pop your pecs?
No, no. No, I don't do the popping of the pecs. Okay, I pop people in their pecs.
Sounds good. Listen, there's so many bad, like all these stupid rumors. You are such a nice guy. You can fight wherever. Like I can't wait to watch you fight again. Like you're a pleasure to watch in the ring. You're an even nicer person to talk to. Like the random person can talk to you and you're so friendly to them. Like you're just like the epitome of like what a fighter should be. If there's a young up and coming fighter, he needs to be like, I want to be like Houston Alexander.
Hey man, hey, but that's cool, man, because your first impression, I believe, when people have been watching you on TV, shouldn't be an impression where they're saying, "I hate that guy." It should be like that. You're not supposed to kiss anybody's ass. But
Sure.
here's where my philosophy comes in. If you respect me, I respect you, and then we'll take it from there. If and watching interviews with Hulk Hogan. Hulk
Okay.
Hogan never turned down a picture from any kid. And guess I just happened to take a picture with Hulk Hogan years ago, and he
Okay.
didn't turn me down. He was one of my heroes growing up, and so I just figure the first impression that you get from people should be the lasting impression. And so this is why we end up being cool, man. We end up being friends. You
Awesome.
probably thought Gator, you probably thought it was very difficult to come up to me, but nah, it's not a big deal.
Like it's one of those things. You see you on TV and you're kind of an intimidating looking guy, and you walked right over to me, shook my hand. You're like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you finally." And I was like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? It was an awesome.
That's
Yeah.
fine, man. Right? Yeah, but don't get it twisted though. This is where this is where I want people not to get it twisted. Don't try that buffoonery around me, because then that's switching. There's what did the guy saying? There's a flip side to that coin.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro said, "There's a
Yeah.
flip side to that coin. Don't come with the buffoonery."
Awesome. All right. Well, I have no more questions. Is there any messages or shout outs or anything you'd like to get off your chest before we end?
No, but I like what you're doing. And if I didn't like what you were doing, I wouldn't be able to the internet with a T-shirt on, trying to figure out this program. But hey, I like what you're doing on Instagram, and hopefully your platform gets a lot bigger because I mean you're a good guy to and you represent, you know, martial arts and combat sport in a great way, man. So that's one of the reasons why I'm on your platform, and for all the people that are watching, you know, I fight because I enjoy. I really enjoy fighting. It's not it's you know it's always been a hobby to me outside of the other things that I do, but I really enjoy fighting. So I stay always and Coach Alexander would say this, and I'm sure all the other coaches around the world will say the same thing. If you're ready, you don't have to get ready. So anybody in the bare knuckle organization waiting for we waiting to get back in the ring. I'm already always ready, always. And so I appreciate everybody, you know, supporting me over the years, man. And I appreciate you want me to deal on the platform, and I'm just ready to get back in there, man. You know.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. Hopefully, they got some big news for you. We'll see. I definitely had heard about a fall LA card again, so that'll be awesome to see if that does plan out. So,
Yeah, we'll see. But you know,
yeah.
it would be cool to kind of go out there to LA because from what I understand, Bud Crawford from Omaha is going to be
Okay.
fighting out in LA as well.
Okay.
So
Well,
so we don't have the Nebraska boys out there putting it on them.
the only thing I'll have to say is the medical is such a pain in the ass. I was talking to Ben Rothwell. He said, "Oh, I'm over 40 now. All the medical for California, so like just be prepared for all that pain in the butt." So,
But see, I can't. I'm already prepared already because again, I've already been through all the medical and
right,
all the things, and it can't be no different from from Omaha because well not even Omaha, Nebraska, and all everyone has their stipulations, but if you're in good shape, and which I'm in pretty good shape.
right.
I shouldn't have a problem. I don't worry about that because I don't have a problem with my conditioning.
Absolutely. All right, sir. Well, we look forward to watching you again. You're loved on the Reddit. We appreciate everything about you, and we can't wait to watch.
Brother. I appreciate it. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna screenshot this right here. Look,
Uh,
hold on. And this is what I have to do. What? See, weird. There we go.
awesome.
Always great, brother. So
Thanks so much.